Show us what you got.
Program activated.
This week, the Marthythians listened to the debut album by The Chariot entitled Everything is Alive, Everything is Breathing, Nothing is Dead, and Nothing is Bleeding. They also watched the David Cross film Hits, and they are about to eat some bean-boozled Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Hologram program activated.
I love that they're called Bean Boozled.
Bean Boozled.
Boozled.
That's so good.
You've been boozled.
I bean boozled you guys with it this week.
Bean Boozled? That's good. I think I've seen online that you can make like flavored vodka with jelly beans or Skittles, and I think that assuming you got the good flavors out of there, that you could have some Bean Boozled.
Right, because this package has
Many
flavors.
It has a great
Okay.
Give it.
So, the idea behind Bean Boozled is there are many jelly beans in the package, but some look the same, and they are very disgusting. Some are very disgusting. Some are good. So you've got green ones that taste like lime and lawn clippings, but they look exactly the same.
I don't think lawn would be too bad.
Yeah, I don't really like lime.
Or you've got chocolate pudding and canned dog food. Both are black.
Canned dog food.
Both. One might taste like beef stew. One might taste like chocolate pudding.
Yeah, one might just taste like canned ham.
I think it's interesting
not that
that when it
flavored.
comes to brown, they went chocolate and canned dog food.
Instead
like
of
chocolate
shit.
and poop. Or chocolate
Human
and
feces.
Chocolate and runny diarrhea.
that we've distilled into bean form.
Maybe because they're giving this, like, they're marketing this also to children.
Well,
Maybe they
yeah.
weren't willing to go with feces.
Well, they did say peach and vomit.
Well, vomit. Kids buy fake vomit.
That's
Do they
true.
still do that? I used to love going to joke shops
I
as
guess
a kid.
kids buy fake dog poop too, so they could have said dog poop.
But you can just throw a Snickers bar in the pool.
This is happening. I'm opening it.
Oh, it's so loud. Be sensitive of the microphone.
Sorry, I'll do it over here.
Mitchell.
Jeez.
Never
You can
happened.
still hear it. You can
This is
still
never
hear it.
happened.
Dump it in that yellow cup.
What is this? Oh,
I don't know.
Oh.
Has there been stuff in there before?
It's your house.
We don't know.
smells kind of weird.
No, it's
Smells like
fine.
baby.
It's fine. My
I
daughter
told you to
just plays with it.
not let the oatmeal babies out.
This thing is so noisy. Okay, but it's got the legend on it. I'll just
Yeah,
handle
Mitchell,
it.
keep the legend.
Right.
All right. Everyone take a beat.
Oh,
Are we
just we're
looking?
gonna take a random
looking
one
first?
We're not gonna all
Well, you
partake
can
in the same
look.
color.
You can look, but it doesn't matter because it could be a nasty one
What
or
color
a
is
delicious
this?
one.
I would say that's
Purple?
purple or brown.
Purple or brown?
Mine is like a cyan blue.
Yeah. Oh shit. Sorry. That's gonna be toothpaste or berry blue.
Mine?
And
Yep.
what's this one?
I think that's canned dog food.
Okay.
Or chocolate pudding. Yeah.
Okay.
And mine is rotten egg or popcorn. Whoa. Okay.
Toothpaste.
You got toothpaste?
Yeah.
Rotten egg and popcorn are both bad flavors.
What'd you get?
I assume it's canned dog food.
Oh, does it taste like? I imagine that beef stew you can buy in a can, where it's
Yeah,
really
kind of, it does,
gravy.
yeah.
That's how it tastes like.
Yeah, it kind of
Okay.
tastes like the gravy.
It's just a little bit like
If
cinnamon.
you're just eating the gravy.
Of the dog food.
Okay,
Or that really cheap, because there's the good stuff like Campbell's Chunky, and then there's like the Puritan meatballs and gravy, the brand Puritan, and there's a total difference in quality there.
It's funny you should say that. I prefer the Puritan over the Chunky.
Really?
But I haven't had it in years.
I got rotten egg.
Oh, Mitchell!
It tastes.
His facelessness
He
is
wants to throw
wincing
up.
in pain. His cheeks are blowing up like he may vomit in his
Do
mouth.
not- do
and his
not
eyes
throw
are
up.
squinting like he's had toxic head candies.
No, it does. Toxic. It does taste like just an egg. That's just gone. That's gone. Yeah.
I've never eaten a rotten egg before.
Well, do you
I've
want
never
to?
come across a rotten egg that I can think of. I assume it just smells like matches.
Sulfur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, we should probably have one more.
I want a lawn clipping
You want a lawn clipping?
because I feel like that would be better than the lime.
But you won't know, it could be lime.
I won't.
Oh, that's booger. Sorry.
It's but booger or.
Yeah, booger or pear. Shit, I don't
So
know.
we all got the bad one right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's lime or lawn clippings.
Okay, it's kind of like a yellowy green. It's got a couple little darker green
Oh, that's
flecks
the
in
same color, isn't it? Is what
Yeah,
I
it
just
is.
had?
it. Maybe it's chocolate.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give
Maybe,
you.
but I want to try a different color just in case.
I got lawn.
No,
got lawn.
I did it.
Because that's the one.
No, this is something different. This is coconut or baby wipes.
Yeah, that one's a lot less opaque than mine was.
Okay, coconut or baby wipes.
God, I hope you get baby wipes. Is it baby wipes?
It's,
What does it
it's
taste?
not coconut.
Sometimes that's the best you can say is, it's not the good one. I guess it's the bad one.
The thing is, baby wipes wouldn't strike me as tasting this way. So being a father of 2 girls who actually wear diapers and whom I use baby wipes on,
Are babies to be wiped?
Is that
they
not?
should have maybe described it as used baby wipes.
Oh, that's
Because it
too
really
bad.
does maybe have a hint of poop in there.
Oh,
that's
just,
too
just
bad.
a little spice of
Maybe
it.
that was why they felt they could do dog food. No, we've got the poop
We've
in there.
got the
Wink,
poop
wink,
covered.
nudge, nudge.
Yeah, otherwise a baby wipe would just taste like, I don't know,
Just scent.
alcohol.
Oh, rubbing
Powder?
alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol or,
Talcum.
I almost got. They made a big box of these where it actually comes with like a spinny arrow where you
Oh,
pull.
like a game?
Yeah, where you pull it off and you spin the arrow, but it was like twice as much money. So I just thought, I'm like, well, we can just
Fine.
randomly pick
That's
them.
fine.
Yeah.
And since none of our listeners are supporting us monetarily yet,
Just
By the time this comes out, maybe someone will have made a donation.
send us some fucking money.
What if we run like a poll of if we make like a Kickstarter, if we make such and such amount of money, Aaron will never bash the gays again.
No, it's not going to happen.
If we make such and such money, Mitch will let loose a string of swears.
That could happen.
If we make
you're darn tootin' it might.
Oh my gosh, you're adorable.
You're darn tootin'. You,
Lord.
you reminded me of Dave Foley in Kids in the Hall. No, not Dave Foley. Bruce McCullough. Reminded me of Bruce McCullough right there.
Bruce does some great characters.
Yeah, Gavin. I love Gavin.
Gavin.
Gavin is so good.
So did
Is that
most of
because
us?
Heaven isn't real?
We all only got the
bash
shitty
these.
ones. So
I beg to differ since
No,
I
you got
set
lawn.
out to get lawn.
lawn.
I
you did
wanted
get
lawn. Yes,
Are they-
but I got it.
Oh, you did? Was it bad?
No, not at all. It was actually very reminiscent of something that I have experienced before.
Mowing the grass.
No, I've only mowed 2 lawns in my whole life.
Wow.
1.5. One was my dad's when I was like maybe 13 with a legit push mower, and one was my
Non-powered?
mother's non-powered.
Wow.
Megan powered.
Megan.
And then one time was with my mom and I wasn't doing it right, or I was bitching and moaning, so she's like, that's fine, I'll take care of it. And she did. And I've never had to mow lawn since.
You do something bad enough, they'll never ask you to do it again.
It's the reason that my husband doesn't have to do laundry.
Oh,
That's not true, he does.
he does this.
But that he still ruined something though.
Yeah, maybe that's the joke, is that they're all just bad. Maybe
Are they-
there's
they're
not
screwing
actually
with
any
us?
good ones in there.
Okay, I'm gonna mix it up just in case all the bad ones are
Okay,
at the
this
bottom.
is the same one that I had last time.
Oh, you got booger? Was that booger?
No, I think it's the lawn again.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You seem to like it less now.
I
though.
do like it less now because I was expecting something sweet. I've been eating a lot of chocolate, so my sweet threshold is really low now, or high.
What?
Stinky socks or tutti frutti?
It looks so tutti frutti.
It looks tutti frutti.
It's all you. It looks tutti frutti.
All of this is getting cut out. It's
All
just
of
going to
the
be like
chewing?
3 seconds
Yeah.
of silence.
Yeah.
Does it taste good?
Can you?
Yeah, it's probably tutti frutti.
But you still seem unimpressed with it.
I think that's just his natural state.
Oh.
That's just how I feel about
Right.
things in general.
Okay, I think we've tried them all. Except vomit and peach.
I'm not doing that. I
I'll do
hate
it.
both of
I'll
those
do it.
things.
I really hope it.
Vomit and or peach. We'll
don't
just
like-
have to eat them through the evening. We'll have to
Oh, yeah.
finish this off here.
Vomit or peach.
So is this fun? Is this something you would do again?
What do you mean?
Is this a good idea? This
Oh.
bad flavor.
So vomit?
So vomit.
So Mitch now look at him. He gags even tasting them.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
that sensitive to taste?
Maybe it just tastes really awful. Well, he's not a smoker, you know? He hasn't lived hard to gain the body of an elderly man. yet.
I think
with elderly senses.
No, I think vomit was the worst because it reminds you of those like really drunken, like hungover mornings where you kind of get that little bit of vomit in your mouth.
You have a little bit of a wet burp.
And oh my god,
like a shark for your mouth.
Oh, that just happens to me on a regular basis, kind of. Just swallow it back.
I don't think that's healthy.
How do they do that? How do they make those flavors?
They employ a team of scientists and volunteers.
They're like, okay, we need you to test this vomit.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how vomity is this?
How vomit is this?
Ooh, it needs more bile. Jeez.
It's not quite sharp enough. It's not coming up through the back of my nose
I'm
quite
not
yet.
really getting that stomach acid.
It doesn't burn.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's like bubbling through my nasal cavity. You know,
The
like when
Chariot.
Oh.
The Chariot.
Can I put another vomit thing in my mouth? No, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, he says.
But it was
Well,
bad.
it was bad.
No,
it wasn't that bad.
No. I liked it.
You liked it?
I like the Chariot. I'm gonna say that, but I have to be in the right mood to listen to their music. And I know Aaron's going to disagree with that because he just likes music at any time.
Yeah, I don't require a mood for any kind of music.
No.
Yeah.
But this is a full frontal assault on all of your emotions and feelings and senses. Yeah.
It's pretty aggressive.
So, I mean, I'm not probably not going to turn it on like my niece's 4-year-old birthday party or something like that.
I turn it on for my daughter. She's 2.5.
Oh.
And she gets headbanging on it, but she's not into it as much as I am. And as she gets older, she may not be at all. She might just be, making her father happy, I guess. I guess you like it, so maybe I don't
think that they do that. There's going to be, maybe eventually, but there's probably going to be a period of no. I'm not. I can't wait to see if she gets a no face.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that yet.
That's exciting to hear.
Yeah, hopefully she grows up being a metalhead, hardcore fan. But
I don't know if you can instill that. I've never seen it instilled successfully, continuously.
Is it a rebellious? It has to be a rebellious thing. Like, hey,
maybe not like consciously per se, but I know that a lot of like metal and punk friends I've had that have children. There's a period, up to a certain years where the kids go along with it, and then they see what their once she gets peers, that's where it usually comes in.
What are they listening to?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, when they get older and they start developing their own taste and listening to what their friends listen to and that kind of thing, are they gonna
developing their own taste by listening to what their friends listen to? If that's not growing up, I don't know what is.
I said and, not by.
That's true. That's true.
For me though, like, when I was a kid, it was mostly classic rock and that kind of thing, and then I think I started getting into heavier stuff because I was just feeling like there wasn't the aggression there that I wanted.
Yeah, you can tell when something's missing from what you want to be feeling.
Yeah, so I wanted that aggression, and then I started off. There was post-hardcore was relatively new or starting to get big at that point. There were some bands that were doing it way before, but it was starting to gain traction at that point. Mm-hmm. And so I was good with that because it had melody and clean vocals with some screaming in there, right? Like, whereas at that time, I listened to stuff. If I had heard the Chariot at that time, I would have been like, what the fuck is this garbage, Because I would have heard this.
I was going to say, there's really no melody or clean vocals in this.
Well, there is.
Maybe a little.
There is a little bit. And in later albums, there is sort of maybe a little bit more, but...
Can you quite compare this to later records due to the recording style and it being a debut?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, the Chariot is still the Chariot in all of their albums. I mean, they do change as any band does, but there's generally it's the same. I mean, and that's the thing about, before I get onto that, so I sort of, as I allowed myself to get into allow a little bit of screaming and a little bit of harsher vocals, it just sort of eventually became, I can understand a lot of this stuff that's just all screaming vocals. Whereas, when I was younger,
Can you understand it though?
Really?
in a different. No, I mean like I was kind of.
Is that a dig?
Yeah. Well, no, it was a dig.
Lyrics?
Yeah, it was a dig at like.
Actually, I think you can in this album. Josh Scogan, I think, is pretty clear. There are a lot of guys who, when you hear Cookie Monster vocals.
Yeah, no, it's different than that.
It's not
It's
like
different
That
than
was
like.
there a little bit in the later tracks on the
There
album.
was some of that if you couldn't really understand them, and I'm still.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand like you could understand when he said like roses, and you could understand short phrases. I
Right.
think, but as a whole, I don't think you could understand most of the lyrics. Like
Right.
like when he says at certain times, I'm trying to interpret what he says, and sometimes it just comes across like. And I mean, that's not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But
I know what you're saying. I think too, though, that's the same with a lot of music, sort of in and around the genre.
right.
And I think if you read the lyrics, then it becomes obvious when you're listening to it.
Right.
Then you hear it. But you, in some cases, you got to read the lyrics first.
I did that. I followed along with the lyrics, and I agree to that, but only 60% saturation.
Oh, so I don't. But I listen to a lot of this music, so
Your ears are more tuned to listen for those.
Yeah, this shit hurt my ears. Like there was too much going on.
I think what did it for me was the feedback. Like they love to use feedback, and that's all I heard constantly. Even kind of when we were at work and from your office, I could hear just the coming from your office just constantly.
I love that. I mean, for me, it feels like. Well, first of all, I want to ask you this. I know it might be an odd question, might be a hard one to answer, but have you listened to another band that's more full on than this? That's more aggressive, that's heavier, thrashier, noisier, like have you listened to something that
they're unique in a way that in how in your face they are. They are very
it's
aggressive.
An onslaught. It's a constant onslaught of sound.
I feel like that's a little bit subjective.
Of noise?
Yeah, I think that I feel like the question you're asking, it might be a little bit in a box. Who else have you heard with this sound is what I hear when you ask that.
No, I'm saying, have you heard anything more aggressive than this?
If I think that it's a different kind of aggressive, like, does it have to be fast and hard to be aggressive? If it's got hard-hitting lyrics and it's a bit more, like, sludgy, that could still be considered aggressive. I haven't that I can think of right now because I don't go near this shit because I know that I don't like it, so why would I listen to it? It's too much going on.
That's a tough question because, I could see, you could even compare, like, those Norwegian, like, black death metal bands.
Because that's the thing, right? If you got, like, Barks and speed metal, that's still full-out aggressive. If you might get stomped to death in a mosh pit, that's still aggressive. It doesn't sound like this.
I think it's a little bit. I don't know if I feel like it's as aggressive when I think of aggression or violence, or not that I think this stuff is violent, but when I think of that, when I think of aggression, I think of chaos, and a lot of those like dark metal bands and stuff, there is no chaos. Like so their vocals are heavy and
technical.
They've got heavy crunch, but it's not chaotic.
Not a big mess.
It's structured.
It's not a big mess.
It's not a big mess.
And that, like, this is not even calculated. It's a mess in a way that's like avant-garde art almost.
I felt the exact same way. I felt it was very avant-garde. I, after a while, felt like it was for the sake of being. And I felt actually a lot of what you had said about Kill Matilda. If these were, my high school peers really sticking it to the man at the talent show, I'd root for them.
That's not at all what they're doing. They're not sticking it to anyone with the sound. That's
I didn't say that they were.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're saying.
It just is how I felt about all of the sounds together. It's like...
It is structured, though. It's not it's not structured in the traditional sense.
It doesn't have a box, but it's got like a build.
You can hear the guitar work. You can hear the drum work.
Oh yeah,
it's not just noise. I mean, it's as close to the edge of being just noise as I've ever heard, but it's still a song.
I'm just impressed.
It's still clearly a song.
Yeah, and I'm just impressed that they can honestly remember these songs because they're clearly they were thinking something when they wrote the song, and there's words that go along with it.
And the lyrics are great.
And he's an amazing writer as far as lyrics go, but I'm just surprised that these musicians can get together night after night and repeat it. I wonder if
play the same thing?
play the same thing, yeah. And
No, I've seen them live.
Yeah.
And it does sound like the album. It's not just... That's what I'm saying. It is written. It is written music. Yeah.
But even Josh Scogan, I was just reading a bit about him, and he says that people are asking him, like, wow, that was really cool, like 5/8 bar in this like double time section here, and he's like, well, I don't really care. It's just like what we were feeling at the time we were writing it. Like,
and I think that's kind of cool stuff, like that kind of inherent musicianship and teamness and stuff, to be able to just go and riff and have it turn out into something like that.
Well, and you do hear some bands that are, you know, that I would consider in the similar vein, in the similar genre,
right?
But they are intentionally using these weird time signatures and whichever else. So they're sort of putting the math behind it. Some bands, they sort of write the math of it and then play that.
Right. They kind of understand all the theory behind it, and that's how they write it.
Right. Whereas, you know, Scogan doesn't.
No.
But that's what I love about Josh Scogan, and I do think that he, in terms of this style of vocal, is one of the absolute best at it. He is so good at it. I think, I can understand why you don't like the style of music, but in regards to the style of music itself, I might get some hate mail here, but as far as I'm concerned, the Chariot basically invented it and does it the best. They do it better than anyone else. They're not doing a face melting solo, but they're just melting your face.
I was just gonna say, it's not that they wait until it's solo time.
No.
They just come out of the gate with a blowtorch.
Yeah. That's what I love about it, though. I mean, that's what I'm going for when I listen to them. But I certainly can understand that, because it's not recognizable in any traditional way, really.
Right. You're not gonna put that on and be like, hey, what was that cool song with that hooky riff in it? But
there was some cool parts of some of the songs, like there's that banjo interlude.
Oh, I noted that too. Yeah,
I would say maybe the last 90, 120 seconds of, and then came then before the last 30 seconds, because that's just the generic song. But there was a cool, like, crescendo kind of style that had some extra sounds that I hadn't noticed on the rest of the record, and I found that shit interesting. Also, is the website supposed to be a political website now? Thechariot.com is Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump.
Oh, really? Maybe that's not their website.
But it says EST09. And did these guys not break up ever?
Oh.
Yeah, they're not together now, but it was after 2009 that they broke up.
Maybe, are they political in nature?
No.
I don't even
Maybe they just
see
needed
their
some
website
money.
when on Google.
Exactly.
Is that... Oh,
no, I found it on... I went to their Facebook page because there was such a little amount of shit going
and
on.
They had a link on their Facebook page.
If you just go to thechariot.com, it's a political... Yeah, it is. This domain is for sale.
Oh, maybe they just let it lapse and they don't care anymore. Because Josh,
Ooh, The Simpsons mocked Donald Trump and endorsed Hillary. That's interesting.
I tried to listen to this album when I was hungover.
Ooh. How was that?
And it wasn't good. I listened to it the other night when I was just kind of in the mood to crank some tunes, and I was really getting into it a lot better. But then I tried listening to it after I'd had some drinks the night before. You just can't, and that's what I kind of mean when you're trying to listen to it in a certain mood. For me, anyway, it has to be. I have to be almost prepared to listen to something like this.
Prepared to wade through all of the sounds.
Yeah,
and even the voice had different tones of its vocalizations.
For sure it did.
That's a nice
That's
way
why
to
I
put
love
it.
Scogan's. That's why I love Scogan's vocals, because he can go a lot of ways with it. But Yeah, I mean, I don't have that same experience where I'm looking for a mood with music. I
wasn't looking for the mood.
If it's good music, I can listen to it any time. I can understand that if you're dealing with a headache,
This gave me a
maybe
headache.
you don't want to crank it. But I also, when you say wading through all the sounds, I don't know that I need to. It's one of those things where if I want to listen specifically for something, I can. If I want to focus on something in it, I can. It's not necessarily easy because it changes endlessly. Like the guitar, there is no verse, chorus, solo. It just, the guitar's doing what it's doing for that song.
Yeah.
The drums are doing what they're doing for that song or for that moment. But that's sort of also, to me, what's appealing about it is that I just let the sound come as a package. I just let it roll over you like a wave. Like you
let it spray all over your face.
Yeah,
It's hot, gushy waves.
And it's hot,
you
gushy.
just let it come.
Well, it's silky milky from your balls.
But they don't half-ass it. I'll give them that. They don't. In the recording process, it didn't sound lo-fi kind of in any way. There was definitely production value coming from it.
There's no way you can record feedback as an instrument without having good quality sound.
Yeah. This was an interesting choice, Aaron. This was a wild one.
Yeah.
I can't see it appealing to the masses, but
no, there's nothing else like them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like I can't even think. I can think of bands that are sort of similar to them in some ways, but there's nobody like them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the Chariot, and that's what they are.
They just are.
Then you kind of jump into that whole, how do you define like noisecore, metalcore? You try to throw them in a genre, and you really can't.
Well, when I tell
like
people
these
about
guys,
this band, I can't.
Exactly. Well, you threw out a lot of descriptors when you passed off the title last week.
Metalcore.
But I think that broad stroke kind of helped, at least for me, knowing that it was going to be just fucking noisecore. That really prepared me for what kind of a threshold I should be prepared for, and they delivered. It was noise. It was a lot going on. Everyone had their amps up to 11, and someone somewhere likes it.
Well, lots
you're
of
right
people
there.
like it. They did quite well for a lot of years, and they still would be going
As a what, sir?
if they just hadn't broken up, basically. And now Skogan. The thing is, Josh Skogan has had his staunch fans from the beginning of his career, essentially. Like he was the first vocalist for Norma Jean, which was before they were called Norma Jean. I think they were called Ludacris, and then that rapper came out named Ludacris. So
there can't be two Ludacris. That's ludicrous.
Yeah. There you
Sorry.
go.
That's okay.
It was good. It was good setup.
So then he did an album with them as Norma Jean, and then he did the Chariot for some years, and now he's in a band called 68, which is just a two-piece. And it's noisy, but it's a lot more structured than the Chariot. But it's a two-piece, so
you can do a lot of cool shit with two pieces.
Yeah. So I think the thing about people who like Josh Skogan, I mean, I'm not discounting the rest of the musicians in the Chariot. It was a band. It wasn't just Josh Skogan. But Josh Skogan himself has a strong fan base. They sold a lot of records, and they headlined tours, and
I don't know if we talked about it before, but did we talk about that show that we went to where the Chariot was an opening band, and he ended up jumping off a 12-foot high speaker cabinet into the crowd? And I mean,
catch him?
And he's not a small guy.
No, he's not. He's at least my size, probably. And it was crazy. Like the guys, they were throwing, you know how guys throw their guitars around their necks and stuff? These guys were doing it, but in the sloppiest way ever. Like, the headstocks were bashing off the floor, and they were climbing the lighting rafters and hanging off them while they played guitar with one hand.
It was wild to see.
If
that.
you're
It was
into
ridiculous.
that kind of, what are they called?
It was unreal. Like, I've seen some hardcore shows, but these guys were ridiculous.
I don't know how they do that. Like, well, how they did that so often.
Insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
There's stuff like using the headstock of your guitar to play the drummer's cymbals.
They
and stuff
must
like
have
that.
broken
Like,
so many things. Like, I don't even know how
it's
that...
they're full out. There's
Yeah.
no question about that.
Yeah. I read that he put some of his influences as Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and James Brown, because I think it's that showmanship, that ability to put that emotion in what he's doing. It's funny, you would expect more kind of, I guess, hardcore influences behind him, but
Right.
Showmanship is showmanship.
yeah.
Yeah, I think showmanship is part of it. I don't know. He's in that time period when bands like the Chariot and Norma Jean were really kind of growing. Most of those bands that really made it big in that scene were from like Georgia and the South. Like
From
a
the
lot of those
South.
bands
I
came
think
out of
that's
there.
something to
a
be
ton
aggressive
of them.
about.
And so maybe that's why those are his influences. Maybe he just associates with Tennessee or Nashville or,
Yeah.
I mean, you read the titles of the songs
I liked
on
them.
that album.
I liked the titles of the songs. I liked the content. The lyric sheets that I looked up, they were just little blurbs, which made it extra funny because some of the songs are quite long, even though the album's barely under half an hour. And I again found it interesting that you've got found it interesting that it was interesting content. Lyrically, given the abrasiveness of the actual audio itself. And I always think that those are interesting. I always think that those are marked contrasts.
Where's my
I mean, I love
thesaurus?
the title
Synonym.
of the
Wow.
title of the album is so long, and then like track 2.
Oh my God,
the
yeah.
title is "Someday, in the event that mankind actually figures out what it is that the world revolves around, thousands of people are going to be shocked and perplexed to find out it was not them. Sometimes this includes me." That's the title of the song.
Oh man, I just thought it was Someday in the Event. That's all Spotify would
No.
give me.
Oh no.
I didn't dive in deep
Likely.
enough. Yeah.
Apparently, it's the 13th longest song title
38 words.
Of all time.
Of all time.
I'm just,
I'd like to know what the longest.
somebody just made up something that was just obscenely
And I'll
long.
give Skogan this, like when you really dig into the music and the lyrics that he writes, he is saying something. He's not a musician who's going, well, whatever it means to you, man, is what it means. Like he's saying something.
What's wrong with that, though?
fuck.
What's wrong with that? I mean, he can say something, and you can look at it and you can ask him what it's saying.
Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It kind of annoys me because I just typically think, okay, well,
Why does it have to
you
be
wrote
cut and dry?
a song that means something. It doesn't have to. I just would rather if the musician wrote something that meant something that he would just be honest and say
concrete.
what it was, as opposed to just being like, it's up
Well,
to
what
you,
if what it
however
was?
you interpret it.
No, but what if what it was an idea that inspired it? That isn't just like, oh well, it's about my cat. It's about the idea of this feeling.
Great, then say that.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily define the song. That doesn't necessarily make it the definition of the song. Like that doesn't. What am I trying to say here?
I don't know.
It's art, right? It's art. It makes you feel things.
It's subjective.
It's subjective, yeah.
Yeah, it is subjective, but if you didn't write it subjectively, if you didn't write it subjectively, then you may as well just say what it's about. Just say what it's about. Just say what it's about. What did you write this about? I don't know. If there isn't, sometimes there isn't. There are some guys, like I've heard some musicians go, nah, it's not really about anything. The lyrics are catchy and they sound good together. Tom Petty, I think, even said that in an interview. He's like, no, it doesn't mean anything. It's just, that's why it kind of doesn't make sense, because it doesn't mean anything. The lyrics sound good and I'm good at writing stuff that
Works.
people like to hear that works. So, yet on the other hand, there are songs that Tom Petty has written that actually are about something. They actually have something behind them. And when they do, he tells you what they are. I mean, yeah, some things are about deep things, some things are just whatever. And that's fine. I'm not not trying to be harshly critical about that. It's fine. I like the fact that I appreciate the fact that Josh Skogan is trying to make a statement about something. He's not punching you in the face with some, heavy-handed message like some bands do. You get some punk bands that are just unbelievably political, and so that's fine too. That's how they want to make their music. I'm not saying you can make music for whatever reason you want to. I was just saying I appreciate that Josh Scogin is trying to make a statement or say something, and he does it in a way that I think makes you think, as opposed to a way where he says it is whatever you want it to be. And also, as opposed to saying, this is my message and I am, and this is what I'm telling you is right and absolute. And
Right.
he's saying, this is what I'm trying to say, and
But a good
it's
writer,
up to you at the end of the day.
But a good writer is really good at doing that. Like, you look at great literature, like you can look at Ernest Hemingway, Old Man and the Sea, where it's clearly about something, but there's so much more there to take in and look at.
Yeah, you can take out of it what you want.
Yeah.
But it also has a message. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's good writing. So I guess what I'm saying is Josh Scogin is a very good writer.
Now
Not
is
a very
Ernest
good
Hemingway?
lyricist.
Is David Cross a good writer as well?
No.
Oh.
Fun fact. Fun fact. I watched this movie before.
I shouldn't say no. I'm going to rescind that, but continue, Meg.
Didn't remember it at all.
You've seen this
you had
movie
seen it?
before.
Yeah, Chris and I have watched this movie, and we were either
Oh, just hold on. I'm
intoxicated.
going to have another drink. Can we...
About other people's picks.
Criticizing you.
But we didn't.
Offensive here, Mitch. It's okay.
No, you seem to get a little defensive.
Yeah, we
when
didn't grill, I think, as bad when it came to why did or didn't someone like. Well, a little bit. I don't know.
Huh?
I was thinking that nobody quite. Oh, you hated it, huh? Oh, it was so bad. Oh God, it was terrible, huh? No, we just didn't like it. There wasn't as much searching for explanation to our opinions, but I can't remember any time that you and I did that against each other. But I probably did.
I feel like I was the only one who liked It Follows.
Yeah, no, we all do that. I mean, I think when we were talking about the Kill Matilda album, we debated why I didn't like it.
Yeah,
That's okay.
but when when Meg had criticisms about this album, and when I had some as well, even though I do kind of like
liked
the
it more
Chariot.
than I did.
I did, yeah.
It just hurt my
It's easy
ears.
when you're the one who picked it and have so much love towards it to try to explain to people why they're wrong about, or why the thing that they
Why
don't like.
you think
why-
/ feel that they're wrong.
Why this criticism? Oh no, you don't understand. You're listening to it wrong.
See, and that's adorable. And I tried to kind of bystep that with last week's pick of Sarah Brightman, because it wasn't an artist that, I'd been listening to for years. It wasn't someone who had a top 40 hit. It was just an abstract pick,
Right.
sort of, to a certain degree. It's still contemporary, but not exactly. Not popular contemporary. So there wasn't that backpedaling to do. No, you don't get it. Don't you hear how angry this is? Don't you hear how great those vocals are? Yeah, but they're contrived. You suck and you're stupid.
Well, none of us have said that you suck and you're stupid because you
Not
don't like
yet.
it.
Not yet.
Well, what episode are we on? 14? Yeah, I think we would have by now.
I think that I might have saved it till I was gone.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'll defend something that I like, but I don't really care if you like it or not. You don't have to understand it. It doesn't matter to me. There's a lot of stuff that I don't understand, and yet way more people like the Black Eyed Peas than like the Chariot, and I'll never understand that.
Radio.
And no one will ever explain it to me.
Commercial
But-
radio.
because
I
you
just
don't
did.
have them humps, Aaron.
Because I don't have them humps. But
Or a ripped off Tarantino song, which was Link Ray, I think. No, it wasn't.
yeah, so I think it's okay. I mean, you discuss why you liked something, and you discuss why you didn't like something. And some things we'll understand, and some things we won't.
It's really it's what we're doing here.
Yeah, I
Come
don't
on.
understand why I didn't remember this David Cross movie. And it's not even it's not even helpful to say that it is a David Cross movie, because I feel like that doesn't fill in the circle. Like on a multiple choice test, it doesn't fill in the circle as much as it should. I love Matt Walsh. Like my first note is cast. in all caps. Because it had a lot of really good, like even just like bit players.
Like walk-on rolls almost.
Yeah,
hey?
absolutely.
Yeah, why did Julia Stiles have that like 20-second walk-on roll right at the begining? I was like, I didn't see her in the cast list.
Why not? Why not? Amy Sedaris was barely in it.
Yeah.
Michael Cera.
I almost forgot about that.
I'll tell you who I didn't like I don't know, I was really on the fence about him at first. I was just annoyed by the character, and then by the end of the movie I was like, maybe he's one of the better characters in the movie.
Who's that?
That's the husband who goes to help Dave. The hipster.
Yeah, he got really old really fast.
I didn't like any characters in this movie.
I didn't really either.
I think that's kind of the exactly. It's all a little bit, and I use the term subversive, but I'm not entirely sure that that's appropriate. Like all of the hipsters were the first, because you know hipsters, they've done shit before they were cool, and they were all so engaged with making him famous, with making Dave famous with their little videos and all of their awesome shit and stuff, but nobody took the time to acknowledge, to get to know him as a person at all, to find out that he's a racist.
I know, that was one of the funniest moments when he starts.
It took so long for that to come out.
I felt like it almost, that was the punchline really to the whole movie.
Or at least like the whole hipster portion of the movie anyway. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Some of it felt like it was just added in there for no reason. You know, like the wife of Donovan,
wanting
you know,
a baby,
she
like
wants
Belle?
a baby, and then you have that weird thing where she's sort of treating Michael Cera's character
like a child,
like he could be their child, and Donovan's on board with it. He's like, "Oh yeah, buddy, let's go watch a baseball game."
Have you ever seen a ball game?
That whole storyline almost felt like it was just filler or like backstory for them for no reason.
To try to give you more of a character arc.
Well, it could have maybe less of an arc, but more context for the complete dismissal that Donovan has in his life. You know, he's completely dismissing the idea of it being about Dave because it's about Think Tank. It's about his movement. So when the Kurt Brongholders group comes in, like Brainbox, first it made me think of that one South Park episode where the kids are running a detective agency and then the police come in. Hey, who's in charge here? I am. Not anymore, you're not. And the FBI comes in. Who's in charge here? I am. Not anymore, you're not.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. And I felt like her wanting to have a baby and like looking at strollers and stuff online, you know, and they have a conversation about it. She's sitting on the couch. I really, really want one. Well, you know, we can't do that. We're just not doing that. I don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Poor lady.
Of course. It was just the systemic beatdown, I think, really solidified it's all about me. Mustache.
Yeah, it was.
And my mustache.
Then she says something on the phone with him and he's like, you know, we've already talked about this. Or she says, I'm pregnant. And then he goes, what? And
oh my God. And she's like,
she goes, no, I'm not really, but it sounded exciting, right? And whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know. So anyways, Dave he just completely blows right by it. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, everybody was a fucking dipshit in this movie.
Yeah.
Like all of the characters.
Which is funny. Now thinking about to say all of the characters breaks up what I want to say a little bit, but if you were to if you had like title cards of each character and you saw the daughter, I know that I would be like, fuck this daughter, what the fuck?
Right. But
at the end, you wind up rooting for her because even though she's only out to get famous, she feels a little bit like the most grounded because she's getting quote unquote betrayed back and forth by all these other people who are getting famous for nothing, and then all the characters in the film. I think I hated her a lot less at the end.
No, I hated her more at the end. She dresses up in that stupid outfit, and then she takes the gun, and then at the very end, she sees the thing where she gets the email from Ellen, and she smiles, and I think, I don't know, almost for me, the best characters in the film, or the people that I thought were the most grounded, were what's his name? And his wife, David Koechner's character.
Dave Koechner and Amy Sedaris.
Dave Koechner and Amy Sedaris. So
their wolf shirts.
Yeah, they've got their wolf shirts. But see, the thing is, so Amy Sedaris is like trying to tell her, look, she's trying to bring her into the real world and saying, look,
Yeah.
you can't sing.
Honey?
She may be stuck in the past in her like junior
But
American.
she knows then, right?
Yeah, but she knows, and she's she's doing what she's doing now with her life. She's trying to guide this girl. She
And
never is a
fun.
bitch to her or anything.
But that's the perfect measure of entitled youth. Sweetheart,
Right.
I know that you think that you're hip, but you're not, and you're
But
old.
That was like 100 years ago.
But didn't she even go on when she was young? She failed at Star Search
Star
or
Search.
whatever. So,
But she actually got on.
oh,
is
she
the
got
thing.
on,
Yeah.
Which means she
Oh.
actually could sing. She just didn't win.
right?
Or they never really say that. She just says that
So they did- she
these
didn't-
shows
did you-
use you, and then when they don't need you anymore, they drop
Did you see her marshmallow binge after as the post credits?
No, I didn't.
Oh, the post credit. There's Amy Sedaris on a bed, binge eating marshmallows, which I've never seen before, and she's watching a VHS of her appearance, and she
sweet.
watches the "Thanks a lot, dance group, whatever." And
Right.
now from Victory or Justice or whatever the fucking town is, its name. Rewind. Thanks a lot, dance group. And now from town, here's name, and she's just shoveling.
Right.
So
I think, yeah, that reinforces the idea that I think every character in this movie has those, what are they, delusions of grandeur.
No, not everyone does. Not everyone does. David Koechner's
Well, maybe not
character-
him.
he's barely.
So, and
Dave
Amy-
Koechner's hardly there.
But Amy Sedaris' character, still, maybe she did, and maybe she has those regrets. But those are things that I can understand. The difference is she's now an adult who isn't still a nut job.
Yeah, she's grown
operating
out
a
of it.
business. She's trying to.
Here's what happens when your big juvenile dream hits the wall
Right.
of reality.
Her friend is not like that, and she tries to protect her. She seems relatively grounded. Dave Koechner at the end does kind of go, "Good job, Dave," with the racist stuff. But honestly,
I'm with you, Dave.
But honestly,
Almost all of
otherwise,
it. Yeah,
he
almost
was
all.
just a guy operating a business who, like he wasn't looking for anything more. And I don't know. Those seemed like sort of the normal characters to me.
They were few and
then-
far between.
Yeah, and that stupid kid with all of his homoerotic rap lyrics.
Yeah.
Just because he stumbled on "I'll dick slap you" 4 times doesn't make him gay.
No, it
there's no
wasn't just that.
subtext there.
If you listen to the other ones later, they're all a little bit.
Are they a little bit gay?
homoerotic, yeah. I don't know. It was painful to watch, and I think it was meant to be.
Yep.
It was meant to be just uncomfortable.
Now-
that you're watching all these people and the whole time going, "Oh my god."
If we didn't know David Cross, because David Cross is a little bit, alternative, I suppose you could say. So if none of us knew who that was, and we didn't know that the movie had a little bit extra wink, wink, nudge, nudge, would we be giving it the same kind of grace that we are now?
No, I'm not giving it any grace. I didn't like it. The grace that I will give it, I think I said earlier that David Cross, you had said, is David Cross a good writer?
Yeah.
And I said no. I take that back. He is a good writer because I know what he was trying to achieve with the movie, and he did achieve it. But that still didn't make it
Good.
in any
Good to
way an
watch.
enjoyable movie to watch.
He's a good writer when it comes to comedy.
Yeah,
when it comes to his own material.
The
'cause he's
commentary that
hilarious.
was being presented
Would have made better stand-up.
would have made better stand-up. It didn't outweigh the annoying characters. There weren't any real sort of saving graces. Actually, the only one thing that really made me kind of go, oh, I kind of appreciated that moment was when she is up there with the shotgun and singing her song.
Is that what you want to call what she does?
Yeah, barking her song.
And her dad looks
Whining.
at her and
Oh.
And then it shows her dad, and then all of a sudden the voice changes because her dad
How her dad's looking at her.
hears the most beautiful voice ever because it's his girl.
Aw.
And
That was sweet.
that was sweet, and that
And her
I
moment
can
in the car?
maybe associate with.
When she's having her fake interview with Ellen, and she
Right.
talks about, well, my mom wasn't really there, but my dad. Yeah, my dad, and coming, and I thought it was interesting, and I wondered about her little fake interviews in the car with Ellen. Is that like an innately human, fragile thing to be doing, because, you know, when you're in your car, you're by yourself, a lot of people do silly things in there where it's just you, even though, you know, you're in a fishbowl, essentially? Or does it really highlight her narcissism and entitlement to think, oh, I'm going to make it so bad that I'm going to be on Ellen, like, right away. It's going to be great.
Probably a combination.
Where she's preparing herself almost for that interview.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I found it really interesting for, in amidst that narcissism, to stop and be like, wow, I actually hear what I'm saying, or I thought that this was all about me, and now I realize.
Though that narcissism for her also drives her to feel like everybody should know.
Oh my God.
Her situation, right? When she goes and talks to the reporter and she's like, so I was an only child. I mean, I watched the news and that's a pretty good story. And
that was,
do you want to interview me and that kind of stuff? She's such a narcissist that...
Why aren't I
what
famous?
If she's gold
No,
driven?
not just why are I famous, but once I'm famous, everybody needs to know my story. And honestly, I don't know. I appreciate the actors most who just, they don't need to tell you how they grew up. They don't, there's not all this kind of bullshit. It's just, yeah, well, so I act. Did you like the
everyone
thing that
wants to
the role
know.
that I played?
They have to know.
Yeah, maybe do, but she's more concerned about people knowing her story than she is about, you know, just singing. It's not about the art for her.
It's not
even in the shallowest sense.
Well, it isn't even anymore. Now it's not, especially like, this came out in 2014, and I think that it's still apt to say nobody. When people say I want to be famous, it's not I want to be a famous singer. I want to be a famous dancer. I just want to be famous. I want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be well known for something. They
brought that up about the Kim Kardashian or the Paris Hilton or whatever, all these celebrities who are famous for being celebrities. Yeah. And that's who she was like almost looking up to. I guess she was singing, so she was looking up to some singers, but she didn't care about the singing. She just wanted...
And she fucked that dude for that terrible stuff. That's how delusional she is. She let a guy put his dick in her.
Just to be famous.
And how can she not know? I mean, it's so weird. That's what I find so weird about it, is I don't think that I'm a good singer. In fact, I know that I'm not a good singer. And there is no delusion that's going to convince me otherwise.
When she puts the CD in and it's all reverby and garbled and terrible.
Not only that,
she
just can't sing.
Yeah.
And so, the guy did a crappy job of recording her on top of the fact that she can't sing.
All bad. Yeah,
it was all bad. But the thing is, she's so delusional that she didn't just go, well, maybe like winning the lottery on American Idol or something in an audition. She actually let someone have sex with her.
Oh yeah.
To further this, and that's what I think is so messed up, is that she's that delusional. How can you not hear your own voice? I don't get it. How can you not hear that you're not on key? How are people blind to deaf to that?
Yeah, all the characters, like you said, her dad was delusional. He thought she was an amazing singer.
Yeah, but there's some excuse for that, because when you're that close to someone, you often think of them in a better light than maybe even others do, right?
Yeah, but
that's why I never trusted when people would compliment me on the things that I did. That I would always be like, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, that's nice. But I never really trusted it or believed it, because they're friends and family. Of course, they're going to tell you that they're good. I never really trusted their opinion. I would want someone who's entirely a stranger to me.
You need the entire really American Idol cast in front of you, judging you and giving you their thoughts on your vote.
No, I'm just saying if you're in a play, or if you're doing a play, or you're doing like this podcast. If our friends and family say, yeah, it's good, I like it, it's really good, the audio's good, you guys are funny, I'm engaged, I think, yeah, okay, but you're a family member.
You can't just accept that compliment.
Predisposed to enjoy me to a certain degree.
Yeah, to a certain degree. So, and they may say that and never listen to another episode. What to me is more interesting is if some random dude from nowhere, USA, says, I love your stuff, I've been listening to every episode. Sometimes you're a racist asshole, Aaron, and whatever else. That's more important to me, because they have no personal affinity towards us. So that's something that I can take from a real standpoint. And in the case of the girl in this movie, when someone who is in a way close to her just says, look, you cannot sing, that's
Why are you sabotaging me?
Right. She should go, oh, really? Maybe that should be the wake-up call, you'd think. Like, if someone close to you says, look, you're just not good at that, then you should wake up.
No, you're tearing me down, and it's a personal attack because I'm a unique snowflake, and you're just jealous. Especially, I think, with girls, that's a thing. It's not that I'm looking out for you, it's that I'm actually trying to tear you down so I can take your place. You shouldn't date that guy. He's really creepy. I saw him eat a sandwich out of the garbage can the other day. Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna break up with him. 2 days later, oh my god, why are you dating that guy? You just told me to break up with him. Yeah, I know, but, well, he said that I was cute yesterday, so that's kind of what I did.
The ulterior motives.
Really, kind of girls just can't be trusted. I should know. I invented it.
Some girls can be trusted.
Yeah, sometimes. It takes a while usually to find some really tight-neck chicks.
Tight-neck chits?
Tight-knit chicks. Tight-knit chicks. Takes a while to find tight-knit chicks.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jelly bean break.
What is this?
You're going to find out. You want to find out? Make it random.
I think that there are only...
I think it's coconut.
Ooh, lucky.
I think...
oh, God.
What'd you get, vomit?
It's pear.
Oh, what? There was no pear, you
No,
lied.
there is pear.
It tastes like
juicy pear.
a green, juicy, full-ripe pear.
I feel like you would have been less disgusted if you got booger.
That means I've been eating booger. The whole time I thought it was lawn, it was booger.
It was probably booger.
It was booger, yeah. Because I had a lime one, and it was more like a opaque solid, and that one is like a not.
Maybe if I break it in half, I can smell it.
Just eat it. Don't cheat, you dink.
It's experiment.
Oh, that one smells yummy.
So the movie overall just was not...
This one doesn't
That was
taste
not
it.
yummy.
It was not enjoyable to watch. I don't know. I didn't get much from it at all. There were the odd amusing moments.
Part of me feels inherently like it was uncomfortable on purpose. But that doesn't necessarily make it something that you would want to watch again.
Mind you, I've seen some movies where I go and read read reviews and like discussion groups and that kind of thing. And they're usually movies like this where it seems like people either love them or they don't. And there are people who go, oh, this movie, you know what you're talking about. This movie was absolutely hilarious. I was busting a gut the whole time. And I watch them and I think,
Really?
I don't get it. I don't understand. Like even when I think when people go, I don't really like Will Ferrell. I don't find him that funny. I go, yeah, okay. I mean, I can understand it's not your type of humor, but you can still understand why it's funny.
Why should they have to though? If they don't like it, why should they bother getting to?
No, they don't have to. I'm just saying if you say to me you don't find Will Ferrell funny, I'm okay with that. I don't care. You don't have to find Will Ferrell funny, but I still feel like you would understand why other people find it funny, right?
Well, it's comedy. I mean, you understand the intent to be funny.
But not all comedy is... I don't know. Some comedy is just inherently unfunny.
Could you look at this movie and think why people could just find it bust-a-gut hilarious?
It's hard for
Not
me to think
bust
that.
a gut,
No.
though.
I guess it's a
Like,
dark comedy.
It
Like,
is.
That movie was quite humorous, maybe, but not like I was busting a gut the whole time.
I liked
Yeah.
the scene when Think Tank was in the car and they were fighting about the hoodies. You know,
That was pretty funny.
The car
Oh,
recognizes Judah. Okay, no, Judy, you're done. Now the car recognizes this, and you can just see the mustache hipster Donovan just unraveling, and it makes perfect sense. Like it was a natural, I feel, end to him. Not only did he think this was his big thing, and even when they're at the very beginning, when Think Tank has that meeting, you know, there's 15 chairs set out, 5 people.
Oh man, he was
This
so
was
pumped for this
toothpaste. Why
project.
is toothpaste a bad flavor?
I don't know.
'Cause it's not
Some
berry.
people don't like
Toothpaste and
it.
berry blue.
I have yet to have
That
a
one's not
berry.
bad.
They're all toothpaste as far as
You
I'm
put
concerned.
toothpaste in your mouth every day if it was such a horrid flavor.
Yeah, but you don't eat it.
On purpose.
There's a difference.
Who was so excited for this movie?
The character, the mustached hipster, he was so excited for this project. This was his baby, and he had 5 people, and even then he's just like, well, he might not be able to make it. I mean, he's got to watch his cats, so he probably can't make it.
And that was perfect.
Yeah, and then he gets there, and like you say, he just kind of spirals out of control, and he's losing it, and then their last ditch effort is those hoodies. And he's like, should we get the hoodies? You're gonna wait till after you get the hoodies.
We're not ready
We're
yet.
not ready for the hoodies. And then they bust them out, and the one guy's wearing it over his head. They're so pumped. What did you get? What flavor did you get?
Who is the guy?
Whatever the not popcorn is.
Oh, you got
Babatunde.
It's
what
peppery.
a name.
peppery.
It's very peppery. It tastes like
it was
peppery
rotten
perfume.
eggs.
That's not right.
This is Babatunde.
Wyatt's an egg?
Is that his name? I'd never seen him before, but I liked his name.
Babatunde.
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 It tastes like lip chap with pepper in it.
But who is the other guy?
Yeah, Wyatt's an egg. Oh, from Drunk History.
Yeah. He was funny, I thought.
Drunk History's a great show.
Derek Waters.
Yeah, Derek Waters.
He's funny in almost everything that I've seen him in.
Well, he's got that really understated, like he looks like an everyman, which makes any time that he does anything, I feel a little extra.
Yeah, he's funny.
The looks that his face makes.
Yeah. And I just loved how, I loved that was actually a scene that made me chuckle. And this is why I say, made me chuckle a little bit, because nothing made me like
Busted
laugh.
good.
But to be fair, you guys knowing me, even the movies that I find the funniest, I don't laugh out loud. I just watch them with
You chortle.
yeah.
You blow air out your nose at a higher rate than other times.
Yeah, I remember that. No, but that made me chuckle a little bit when they were at that meeting in that Polish hall. And he's like, should I go get some more hummus? And then, or hummus, and they're out of hummus, and they start having this like.
He yells at him.
Gets pissed off at him.
Well, then you bring the hummus next time.
And I thought that was funny because his character was oblivious to the fact that he didn't care that they were having a meeting. He was just concerned about the food. And then later in the show, he does the same thing where he's like, I motioned when they're sitting in that car in that same scene. He's like, I motioned to have a sandwich or something, or to have a muffin or whatever.
Everything was emotion with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yeah.
Just take themselves so seriously.
Yeah, way too seriously in his fucking cut off jean shorts.
I didn't even know what Zipcar was until this movie. Apparently, I'm behind the times. This movie is from 2014, and I didn't even know what Zipcar was.
What is it? Is that where they leave the keys in the car?
Yeah,
and rent it
and you go up with your phone and buy the rental, and then it unlocks, and you drive it around, and then just leave it. Or I guess you got to take it back. But
I think you can. I think you can leave it anywhere, but then it costs you more. I don't know.
I don't know how it works.
Anyways, the
hipsters.
Yeah, I mean, there were parts that made you chuckle. There were parts that were amusing, but
amusing.
There were parts that were amusing, but in general, the film was quite droll.
Oh, you're Russian now.
Was I Russian, German? I don't know.
German.
I was going German.
Oh, okay.
We just cracked 60.
Z.
Yay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, friends?
One left bean for the road.
I dare you to eat 2 at once, Aaron.
I'll eat the rest at once.
Not all of them. Eat a handful.
Alright. What's the point?
Oh,
what's this color? I haven't tried this color.
You're about to find out. Eat a bunch.
That doesn't taste too bad, actually. That must be peach.
No, you just like the taste of vomit.
Could be. Could be. So maybe this is vomit. I don't know. This one doesn't even look.
What did you get? What did you get?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't.
Oh, that's vomit.
Oh, that's vomit.
Oh.
Is it a little acidic? Is it
Kind
spicy?
Of, yeah. It tastes a little bit like vomit. I don't know. I'm not sensitive to these flavors. I mean,
maybe you don't have
a little bit to kick in.
Maybe you're lacking in your sense of smell and taste.
Probably that smoker's. Yeah. That smoker's tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I almost threw up, so that's fun.
I finished off with the wonderful flavor of vomit.
Yay.
Hologram program deactivated.